You're building your ballroom right now. They're also building the Obama Presidential Library. I'm wondering if you've seen. Have you seen pictures of the architecture and what do you think
I did. It's not too pretty. No, but it's closed. It's stopped. They ran out of money. I mean, he's building a library / museum. You know, you call it some museum, and usually they call it library and museum. That's the official name. And they're stuck. And he wanted only women and DEI to build it. Well, that's what they got. And the construction workers are standing out there and saying, we want to be able to build it. You know, I built a great building in Chicago, as you know, a big, beautiful building, one of the tallest buildings in the country. And we got it built very quickly, very well. And we use the construction workers of Chicago. They're great workers. They're great construction people. And I suggest that you get them involved. But they're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget, and I think it stopped. I'm reading these terrible stories, but that's the way our country was run under President Obama too. Nobody knew it.
I was invited to preview the Obama Presidential Center. There's a lot of artwork in the atrium and lobby spaces of the buildings on this campus. This artwork by Nick Cave is made out of pony beads that go in hair, and it goes up 3 floors. It's enormous. This campus houses a multi-story museum that's dedicated to the legacy of Barack Obama and to the American democratic process. It also has its own Chicago Public Library branch. And Michelle Obama has a vegetable garden on top of the library, on the roof. We spent the whole day here, and I'd say that there's great food, great art, and there's even a gym, so you can come here and work out. And I came out of the museum feeling hopeful, which isn't a feeling I've had in a while.
It's been nicknamed the Obamalisk, and it's been in the works for more than a decade. We're here at the Obama Presidential Center on Chicago's South Side. This $850 million project is not just a presidential library, but a highly anticipated cultural institution. The building itself is very striking. It's a granite monolithic form. It's a high-rise in Jackson Park, so it stands out, and it doesn't have many conventional windows. Because of that, people have also nicknamed it the Death Star, which is perhaps why President Obama, along with the actor Mark Hamill, sent a message outside of the Center for Star Wars Day.
I don't care about the names. I think we only care about what it is and what it does and what it will be in the future.
The building itself is actually inspired by the idea of 4 hands coming together. So the idea of unity is baked right into the design.
One of the things that we've been saying about this building is that we think of it as a 500-year building. So every decision that was made was really about making something that felt lasting and felt timeless.
We've seen people begin to use the spaces, and it's really moving. The response has been overwhelming. Kind of the hope and the excitement that this belongs to everyone.
President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people, and they have massive cost overruns. The job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. But he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that, like, never did it before. And he's got a disaster in his hands. Like millions of dollars, really many millions of dollars over budget. And I would love to help him with it. Or somebody else. I could recommend professionals. But it was not built in a professional manner.
The news is going to tell you that Doge canceled the lease to the Obama Library. What you won't be able to easily tell is that the lease that they're referring to is a lease for a building that simply only housed all of Barack Obama's presidential documents and paperwork. It was not an official library. You know how I know? Because I actually live in the city where his actual library and campus is being constructed. It looks like a giant egg being constructed in the middle of the city. Not the middle, but one of the outskirt areas. But they are going to mislead you into thinking that Doge has targeted Obama, when that is not the case. I invite you to go look up what the Hoffman Estates location is. This is the lease that Doge did cancel, and actually the lease was set to expire in 2025 anyway, because his $800 million campus is actually running into a bunch of hiccups, apparently with construction and budgets and all types of things from what I just saw. But don't let them get you all riled up. I'm sure the Democrats are going to take it and run with it. But I wanted to prepare my Republican friends for this new piece of news that is coming out, and it is coming out incorrectly. And a lot of people are misstating and saying that his library lease for his campus basically got canceled. That is not the truth. Go check it.
Obama, he didn't pay Black American subcontractors for building that atrocious presidential building. Now they're facing bankruptcy.
So many of our black contractors are complaining about they have not got their money. But the other side of it, a lot of the black community and the newspapers do not know that these people have not been paid. Contractors are already in bankruptcy. That's what they're saying, that if it wasn't the fact that they worked on this Obama project, they would not be under this type of problem.
You have 10 Black-owned subcontractors facing bankruptcy that they owe millions of dollars for work that they already completed. Y'all hear me? The work is already done. One plumber, they owe $4 million and he's facing bankruptcy. They're in the red. And not to mention how he didn't do anything. Obama didn't do anything to protect these black folks in that community. He could have signed a community binding agreement, which would have put 30% of the units in that area for low-income family. But instead, this is what happened. Gentrification is forcing low-income black families out of their homes. Out of town developers are using $2,000 cash buyouts to evict tenants and flip buildings. Landlords are converting affordable apartments into Airbnbs, causing short-term rentals to spike. And the Obama Foundation refused, like I stated before, refused to sign a legally binding community benefits agreement. $850 million that he has in his Obama Foundation, but yet haven't paid these Black American subcontractors and haven't did anything for the safety or to secure these people, these black people, to stay in their neighborhoods. He didn't do anything, and yet this supposed to have been to benefit that community. And the building's atrocious, right? Y'all seen the building, the outside of the buildings is atrocious. But yeah, nobody's talking about this because this is Obama, and you see how they biased. You see how they're biased when it comes to certain people. But yeah, pay your people.
The Obama Presidential Center is so much more than just a library. I think because they chose Chicago, the south side of Chicago, where it's really home for them, they wanted it to be a gift. And if it had just been a museum, it wouldn't be the gift that it is today.
The goal was to create a campus that would remain relevant over decades, to make this place feel alive. The Obama Foundation assembled a storytelling committee of historians, scholars, and storytellers to serve as a resource. I was on that committee and got a firsthand look at the thinking behind the exhibits, the architecture, and the commitment to create a campus that served the surrounding community. Today, the Obama Presidential Center is more than a museum or a space for archival study. The $850 million campus has a regulation-sized basketball court, an auditorium and performance space, a recording studio for creators. And since Barack Obama worked as a community organizer in this same neighborhood, it's not surprising to see that the center also has classrooms and meeting spaces for workshops and organizing. There's a teaching kitchen and a fruit and vegetable garden, a flourishing beehive that's part of a sustainable ecosystem. Barbecue grills dot the walking paths. There's also a brand new branch of the Chicago Public Library and a children's playground.
Hey! That was fantastic.
That equipment has been stress tested by the president himself. Almost every space on this campus is open to the public, much of it free of charge. It is designed to be a magnet for people to meet and gather and organize.
As we thought about the concept of this library, we thought about perpetual relevance. How can this be an institution that means something for the community forever?
Come with me to go check
Welcome back to the Freedom Room, where we bring you the latest breaking news, trending stories, and thought-provoking commentary on the issues shaping our communities. In today's video, we'll be taking a closer look at the controversy surrounding the Obama Presidential Center and the growing calls by some critics to boycott it. Is this really about the building itself, or is it about something much bigger? Watch the following clips carefully, and once they are over, we'll come back to break everything down and share our commentary.
Why doesn't Obama want people calling his library a library? Recently, Barack Obama tweeted about plans for his presidential center instead of his presidential library. He's calling it a center because Monument to Myself was too on the nose. This is the only library where the first rule is don't call it a library. Have you seen this thing? It looks like a Jawa sandcrawler if it was on Cialis. I've seen more inviting architecture on Imperial Star Destroyers. No records, no archives oversight, private foundation control. If a Republican did this, CNN would run a 47-part documentary called What Are They Hiding? He broke 90 years of precedent to keep his records away from federal archivists. Totally normal behavior from someone with nothing to hide.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Guys, Stephen Colbert wore a tan suit to the Obama Presidential Center opening ceremony. One of the greatest trolls he could have done for this event. Even after Donald Trump and CBS canceled his show, he is still finding ways to mock the Republicans and also, of course, poke fun at Donald Trump. And by the way, he was super kind. People were swarming him. He stopped to take a photo with me, and that was very nice of him. Now, President Obama did not wear the tan suit. That would have been the cherry on top, but of course he wanted it to be about the center, which was just gorgeous. And if you're in Chicago, I would highly recommend you visit. Great day.
Well, I guess Obama got himself a presidential library. Biggest ego on planet Earth with his fancy pants building. I'll tell you what, right now, I'm boycotting that library. I'm never setting foot in the Obama presidential library. And you know what? I'll take it one step further. I'm going to boycott all libraries. I ain't going to a single library ever again because of Obama and his fancy pants building. You know what? Actually, I'm going to up the ante on that right now. I'm never going to even read another book the rest of my life. In fact, I've been boycotting Obama and his fancy books at his library my entire life. I've never read a single book because I straight up just like, I can't read. Okay, that's the deal. I don't know how to read. I can't read. All right? I can't read!
Why is it that Obama seems to live rent-free in his head? Why are they always why is he always competing with Obama and losing?
Because yeah, and losing. I think when you're anointed with certain things and like, you know, like people love you, like we love the Obamas, like forever, right? Like when that happens and some people can't handle watching that be a thing. Like we celebrated watching the clip of Michelle Obama and Barack Obama coming in and looking at the portrait. And we remembered all of the little pieces, like the home in the background. Like, I don't know, I think that there's just like a certain amount of covering that we give them and that is way bigger than any of us that, you know, once that happens, people don't know how to react to it. And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. I bet you Trump didn't even get the invite because Michelle was like, if Trump come, I'm not coming.
Peace out.
It's been reported that he was not invited. Yeah. It's been reported that he was not invited.
I like it, though. I like whenever, you know, they speak out against the Obamas because it reminds us of what the White House is currently lacking.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's just a reminder that there's no dignity in the White House anymore, that there's no class in the White House anymore. So, me personally, man, you know, if you know somebody is better than you, why even bring them up?
Yeah.
Because now people are going to make the comparison.
Okay, just watch this. All the former living presidents and first ladies joined forces yesterday at the grand opening of the Barack Obama Presidential Library in Chicago to send a powerful message straight to Donald Trump. You are not like us. Stay the hell away. The beautiful 19-acre campus looked lively and stunning, telling the story of former President Obama's deep Chicago roots. Nothing like the garbage Trump kept calling it. It was such a powerful image seeing them all side by side, with speeches clearly aimed at Trump. Former President Obama spoke emotionally about how they may come from different parties and hold different views, but they all share core American values: the rule of law, peaceful transfer of power, civil rights, empathy, and the continuity of our democracy. California Governor Gavin Newsom and former Vice President Kamala Harris were there too, praising the return to normality and dignity. Stars like Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, Bono and the Edge, John Legend, Christina Aguilera, Mark Anthony, Jennifer Hudson, Eddie Vedder, The Roots, Tom Hanks, David Letterman, and Stephen Colbert turned out to celebrate. Everyone supported each other, having a great time, showing real unity and American values that Trump simply doesn't share.
You cannot even compare the lineups because President Piggy doesn't even have a lineup anymore. It's just going to be himself talking.
From the clips we've just seen, it is clear that the Obama Presidential Center has sparked strong reactions from supporters and critics alike. Some people believe the center represents history, education, and President Obama's legacy, while others have criticized its cost, design, and construction, with some even calling for a boycott. But does boycotting a presidential library makes a difference if you never intended to visit it in the first place? Is this debate truly about public spending and the building, or it is influenced by politics and personal view about Barack Obama? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to hear your opinion. Do you think the criticism is justified, or has this become more about politics than the presidential center itself? Continue watching the next set of clips, and afterward we'll return with more commentary.
They're lying to you about the Obama Library. First of all, the Obama Presidential Library really is stunningly ridiculous looking. I ran this through RightPen because RightPen is, of course, the fastest way to prove them wrong. And here's what happened. RightPen fixed it. The Obama Presidential Library cost $700 million. That's all you really need to know. But wait, RightPen also found out some things you may not know about the Obama Presidential Library. Like, for example, it ain't even a library. Look at this. The Obama Presidential Center is not a federally recognized presidential library and contains no presidential records, which are housed at a separate facility. The project displaced public parkland in Chicago's Jackson Park and faces years of legal challenges, and construction costs ballooned to over $700 million. It has no presidential artifacts. It has no books. It has no federal regulation. It's not the Obama Presidential Library, and it's not stunning, but it did cost over $700 million. By the way, RightPen can do this with any tweet, headline, Facebook post, or video.
The whole thing from start to finish has kind of been a disaster, right? It's ugly to look at. It's over budget. The taxpayers are footing the bill, apparently, for parts of this.
Hold up, is she talking about the reflecting pool? No, she's actually talking about Obama's failed presidential library. No tax dollars went to constructing Obama's presidential library. The only tax dollars spent was upgrading the surrounding infrastructure, like what happens when you build every fucking building in the city. And then she goes on to say how Trump's future presidential library is gonna be better.
You know, when I think about what I would want a legacy as president to look like, I think about the Trump Presidential Library.
Really? So this is Obama's presidential library. It's meant to serve the American people. It has a museum, community spaces. It has part of the Chicago Library inside. Awesome. It's even gonna have a replica of the Declaration of Independence. Super American and patriotic. Let's take a look at Trump's, shall we? It will be the tallest building in Miami because Trump is compensating for something. It's going to have his name on it in giant gold letters. Oh, it gets better. It's going to have a gilded ballroom that you, the person watching this, won't be able to afford to attend. It's going to have a gold escalator, and right next to that escalator is going to be the Qatari bribe that he was given. Gilded. There's going to be a giant golden statue of himself. Yeah. And worst of all, it's going to be a hotel for super rich people. Epstein would be so proud of his good buddy. Don't forget there's a brand new episode of the Brad and Corey Show. It is the funniest one.
Finally, someone said it.
President Obama opened up his presidential library in Chicago.
That dumbass library.
To attend the event. So if you're going to show up for President Obama's library, you got to present a voter ID, a photo ID to gain access to that event. But to vote in our elections, you don't have to do that? That makes no sense.
Is it racist to go to his library?
And so the United States Senate has a responsibility to open up that floor, use Senate procedure, actually have a debate, You have a filibustering debate. If Bernie Sanders wants to hold the floor of the U.S. Senate for
Byron
6
Donalds
months,
is on
let him.
fire,
Go
boy.
ahead. Swap out the Depends. Get some body armor. Somebody slip you some whatever you need. Keep it going. Because it demonstrates the stupidity of your arguments.
Common sense isn't common. It's just never used. If you got to use an ID to get into some old museum for their black messiah, Barack Obama, then you can have an ID in order to vote. Hell, we damn near use ID for almost anything and everything in this world. But for some reason, like clockwork, when election time comes around, one particular side of ideology and one particular political faction always seems to think that somehow it is racist to suggest to using an ID in order to vote.
Just in case you were wondering how upset or jealous Trump must be of Obama's presidential library in Chicago, here's just a tiny example that may give us a glimpse into how he's feeling. Trump posted to Truth Social this AI-generated image of the Obama Presidential Library. He writes, the Barack Hussein Obama Library in 10 years when fully matured. Talk about an immature temper tantrum, but you shouldn't throw stones when you live in a glass house, even if it's a glass White House. Because we don't have to wait 10 years to see Trump's projects turn into living nightmares that we, the American people, paid for. For example, look at what he did to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. That didn't take years to destroy, no. Trump did that in a matter of weeks. Not only did the pool get covered in algae, essentially making the reflecting pool green, but that blue paint that Trump was so adamant about is now chipping off in the reflecting pool. I wonder how much that's going to cost us, the American taxpayers, to repair. I never thought that paying for Trump's swamp would be on my 2026 bingo card. Alas, here we are. Instead of him draining the swamp like he promised he would, he's just creating swamps on our dime.
Come with me to go check out the Obama Presidential Center that is brand new to Chicago. Opening June 19th after 3 years in the making, this 19.3 acre campus has one of the best presidential museums I've ever been to. You'll see everything from President Obama's childhood handprint and Nobel Peace Prize to family photos and Michelle Obama's iconic First Lady dresses. The museum also highlights Black history and has a replica of the Oval Office where you can take a photo. Outside on the 19-acre campus, you can visit the brand new Chicago Library, a Victory Garden named after Eleanor Roosevelt, a massive playground for the kids, and for free you can head to the top of the building to the Sky Room for incredible views of the South Side and the Museum of Science and Industry.
This is not a good look, Barack Obama.
Apparently, Obama stiffed the black subcontractors who built this stone slab.
Some of our contractors are already in bankruptcy. That's what they're saying, that if it wasn't the fact that they worked on this Obama project, they would not be under this type of problem, filing bankruptcy for protection.
The overall monies expended on this project have now reached nearly $4 million in the red.
In what sense is celebrating Juneteenth if our black contractors are not getting their money?
Barry built a $1 billion vanity project, booked celebrities to serenade him, and didn't pay the black construction workers. This isn't Donald Trump. This is Barack Hussein Obama who did that.
There's a certain irony, if you would, in all of this.
Felon 47 supporters are boycotting the Obama Presidential Center. This might be the easiest boycott in American history. No one was expecting you to go in the first place. This is like me announcing I'm boycotting skydiving. Nobody asked, nobody noticed, nothing changed. They're acting like they're making some grand sacrifice. Excuse me, you were never planning a family trip to the Obama Presidential Center. You weren't sitting at the kitchen table, comparing ticket prices and checking hotel availability. You were never going. And can we talk about the fact they're boycotting a library? A library. You're announcing a boycott of a building full of books. Excuse me, who are you trying to threaten here? We all know you people don't read. You are all illiterate, knuckle-dragging Neanderthals. This is the political equivalent of somebody announcing they're boycotting kale when nobody has ever seen them eat a vegetable since the Clinton administration. A boycott is supposed to involve something you're giving up. If you weren't planning on walking into the library anyway, you're not making a sacrifice. You're maintaining a lifestyle of ignorance. The Obama Presidential Center includes a library, educational programs, exhibits, and community spaces. The reaction from some of these people is, don't threaten me with a good time. Congratulations! You have successfully vowed not to visit a place dedicated to reading, learning, and history. The librarians are reportedly taking the news as hard as the moon took my boycott. And if we're being real, a boycott only works when you're withholding something that was actually going to happen. If you've never set foot there, never planned to visit, and never intended to spend a dime, you're not boycotting. You're simply continuing your regularly scheduled programming. And the funniest part is how dramatic they make it sound. We're boycotting the Obama Presidential Center. Okay. And I'm boycotting the moon. The moon and I have reached an impasse. The Obama Presidential Center was never built to attract people who spend their days rage posting about Barack Obama on Facebook. That's like walking into a vegan restaurant and announcing you're boycotting tofu. Nobody is surprised. Nobody is devastated. Nobody is losing sleep. Meanwhile, the center opened, people showed up, the speeches happened, the photos were taken, and life moved on exactly as expected. So, congratulations on the boycott, I guess. You have successfully avoided going somewhere you never wanted to go, weren't invited to, and had no plans to visit. Mission accomplished. And that's the read. If you like your tea hot.
Hello and good morning. Listen, I know y'all have been keeping up with all the activities at the Freedom 250 and the tens of people that have been attending. I know y'all heard about North Carolina's exhibit with the Confederate flag and all of that. And just, you know, the tens and tens of people that are out there. But that's not what I want to talk about. So there are multiple posts that are trending over on Facebook because MAGA is now launching a boycott against the Obama Presidential Library. First of all, most MAGA, y'all ain't reading above a 6th grade level, if at all, right? Y'all ban and burn books. So who exactly did you think was going to care if y'all boycotted Obama's presidential library? La biblioteca. Like, please, tell us, because I want to know. They are complaining because they don't like the structure, architecturally, if that's a word. I don't know. See, I just be making stuff up. And I really want to know why you think anybody cares that you don't want to go over there. Because I don't know if y'all notice or not, but tickets are sold out through November. So apparently, it's not going to make a bit of difference. Because the amount of money that library is going to take in, it's not going to matter whether y'all go or not. Why don't y'all just stick to the little Freedom 250? Because apparently y'all ain't showing up to that either. So are y'all actively boycotting that too? I don't know. I just Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. That's it. That's all I got. Okay. All right. Okay, bye.
This is the Obama Presidential Library under construction currently in Chicago. It's meant to be Barack Obama's legacy. And here's a description from a class at Harvard about the library. Hope, change, and equity, Presidential Center, and the development of the Woodlawn neighborhood where the Obama Presidential Library is in Chicago. But it's behind schedule, and the budget, which was originally $300 million, is now up to $615 million, and it sounds like it's going to go up to $800 million. And local residents do not like it. They're calling this the Obama-lisk. But even worse than the public perception of this library, it has these lawsuits now. Because the big one is this guy, Robert McGee, who was selected to do a lot of the concrete work on the Obama Presidential Library. Here he is pictured with Obama. But the problem is his work is not holding up. The facade of the Obama Presidential Library is cracking. Like really bad cracking. And the architect for the library says that this concrete contractor was questionably qualified, but they were forced because of the equity policies to pick minority-owned contractors, even though they had other contractors who were qualified to do this complicated concrete work who were sufficiently qualified. So then the concrete contractor is coming back and saying that this statement by the architecture firm undermines the DEI goals and commitments to bring transformative change to the construction industry and local community by providing solutions to barriers that have historically prevented disadvantaged businesses from participating in projects of this magnitude. If that all sounds familiar, that's because that kind of stuff is exactly what Obama did in his presidency. So let's spend a few minutes on his legacy and how this problem with the Obama Presidential Library, which is actually meant to be a monument to his legacy, is actually an accurate reflection of, honestly, his crumbling legacy. When he came into the public sphere, Obama was a superstar, had some of the biggest crowds ever to come to a political event in the United States. He was awarded the Nobel Prize after 6 months in office. Celebrities, cash, the iconic image. And when he started out as president, he started by talking about strengthening civil rights and empowerment through diversity. And I gotta admit, listen, as a person, I was completely swept up into the Obama movement, hope, change, all this stuff that he was promoting. Then he kind of started about equality and social progress. And then it moved into anti-racism and equity. And this is where it really started to fall apart. Some of these programs included this one, Race to the Top, where federal education funding encouraged schools to give students higher grades. He created this idea of promise neighborhoods, where certain neighborhoods would overcome achievement gaps by receiving extra federal money. He developed this White House initiative on educational excellence for African Americans. So now he starts having policies that are targeted specifically to people on the basis of their race. Then with the Affordable Care Act, you start to see President Obama trying to address what he calls health equity and health disparities. Then he gets into criminal justice with this Fair Sentencing Act and reforming the sentences that can be given to people who commit certain crimes. And it more affirmatively furthering fair housing, which was a federal program to solve social inequities in housing and give a pathway to inclusive housing futures. Then you have this executive order that is an initiative to do DEI in the federal workforce and for any contractors who are hired by the federal government. And then during his term, Congress starts to accuse Obama of an abuse of power. Even liberal law schools like UCal Berkeley assert that he is pursuing a dangerous change in the powers of the president. One of the most egregious, and this was written in the Harvard Law Review, is that he ignored immigration laws. He wanted to unilaterally grant amnesty to about 5 million illegal immigrants. And even this professor at Harvard Law School, Professor Turley, who is an open and adamant Democrat, said that what the president is suggesting tears at the fabric of the Constitution. That's because Obama had all of these targeted group conscious, race conscious, gender conscious programs. And that violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. So even people in the Democrat camp start saying things like, hey, you have this program, My Brother's Keeper, but what about the girls? Because you have given federal funding to specifically black males. Well, what about black females? Because what Obama fell into was fundamentally un-American at the end of the day, attempting to equalize results by using the government to engage in social engineering practices that picks winners and losers based on group identity, immutable characteristics like your skin color or your sex, rather than individual merit and effort. And these programs largely failed. Here is the predicted enrollment in Obamacare. Here's the actual enrollment. So they expected a lot more people to pay for these Obamacare plans, because the main people who enrolled in Obamacare are those who get subsidies, which is primarily available for lower income exchange enrollees. Similarly, the Obama administration ran out all of these programs that were designed to create equity in finance and economics, and they hit these community banks really hard because these small banks now had to comply with all these new federal regulations, which actually led to big banks buying the small banks, consolidating the banking industry, and actually getting rid of free checking accounts, which had become widely available and actually had the effect of pushing many of the most vulnerable people out of the mainstream banking system. In education, you have grade inflation spreading from high school to college because the Obama-era policies, which were followed by Biden, encourage schools to give better grades to students regardless of their performance. So then you have this complete policy whiplash, which is Americans bring in a president who ends racial and wasteful government DEI programs, even though there is these widespread No Kings protests. This guy was elected by a majority of the popular vote, the first Republican to be elected by a majority of the popular vote in a really long time. You have the Supreme Court striking down affirmative action and other race and gender-based policies because they're not fair. What Obama and his people failed to realize is that America is built on practicality. People like Benjamin Franklin, who were tradespeople, which is just to say that America was built on pragmatism. People who supported middle-class values, like learning things, having equal opportunity, and then using that equal opportunity to make your way in life. And despite what Obama thinks, you cannot make this out of this. You will have to have a society where people can actually do things and be recognized for their actual personally achieved outcomes. Skin color, sex, all that stuff, it actually doesn't matter when you're trying to put concrete on a building and make it stand up. So you're starting to see op-eds like this. Obama's legacy lies in tatters, because the things that he did were fundamentally un-American. And even though he had some of the biggest rallies in the history of the United States, and he was given the Nobel Peace Prize, it seems like the Obamalisk, with its cracked concrete foundation, which is there because of forced hiring of questionably qualified people, is actually the perfect representation of Barack Obama and what's appearing to be his failed legacy.
Now that I've seen the full story, it's easier to understand why the Obama Presidential Center has become the center of such a heated national debate. For some, it stands as a lasting symbol of history, education, and the legacy of first American black president. For others, it remains a source of criticism over its cost and construction. Wherever your perspective, one thing is certain. The conversation surrounding the center isn't ending anytime soon. We hope you found this video informative. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching the Freedom Room, and we'll see you in the next video.